for our Monday special Midcap Mania with Nigel D'Souza. Let's find out what is the interesting company on his radar today. Nigel, over to you.
Well, Sonia, the group of companies I'm going to talk about are the most uninteresting for the last few years. They come in from the acrylic fiber space. So no one's really talking about it. I really struggled to get some data points on this. But there are three companies that have been buzzing around. They've hit fresh 52-week highs. So I was trying to find out exactly why. These are the three listed companies that are into acrylic fiber. Now, if you just go ahead to see what exactly is the total domestic capacity, currently it is at around 100,000 tons or thereabouts. And all the three capacities should come up for you. The three listed companies, in fact, they have capacities. Vardhaman Acrylics has around 20,000, Indian Acrylics around 42,000, and Pashupati has around 40,000. Minded that these stocks haven't really moved in years, but good to see that these stocks are sitting at 52-week highs. India exports close to around 18,000 tons or thereabouts, and in fact, India imports around 30,000 tons. Both those two figures have been moving. For example, the exports were at 10,000 tons. Now they're at around 18,000 tons. And the imports are far higher, but there have been some anti-dumping duties that have been put in. So that's why, in fact, it is at roughly around 30,000 tons. Now, exports, they have been seeing demand coming in from various parts of Middle East, in particular Iraq, China, as well as South America. And you just take a look at the first quarter numbers for all these three companies were absolutely brilliant. So on the top line, there was no growth because it's linked to crude. So on the back of that, on the top line, we're not seeing growth for any of these companies, but margins and operating performance, fantastic. This is Vardhaman Acrylics. They're giving you more than 20% margins. It used to be single digit. So that's looking quite good. Profitability as well has soared up by close to around 90% if you compare it on a year-on-year basis. And if you extrapolate it, 15 crores, if they can keep this up, then they should do around 50 to around 60 crores. And in fact, the market cap is only around 380 crores. But they need to keep it up. If you look at Indian Acrylics as well, top line growth as well, there's a degrowth over there. But margins have expanded yet again over there. It's coming at around 13%. That compares with nearly around 7%. Profitability has more than doubled. If you try to extrapolate that number as well, they've done around 10 crores in the first quarter. But I don't know whether they can keep that up. If they can do 30, 40 crores, then it'll be trading at roughly around 6 to around 7 times or thereabouts. Pashupati, Acrylic as well, same is the case there. Margins expansion, while on the top line, there's no growth whatsoever. And if you take a look at the profitability, it's up by a good 150%. So if you try to extrapolate that data point and we say that they're going to do a similar run rate, then it'll be trading at around 6 to around 7 times. Another couple of interesting data that I was looking at. For Indian Acrylics, the promoters have been buying stakes. In the last few months, they've increased their stake by close to around 3 to around 5% approximately. And just last week, there was a block of around 13 lakh shares. And if you look at the disclosures, you'll see that the promoters have bought this as well. Remember, this is a stock that was only around 5 rupees just around a year ago. And now it is at around 18 rupees. So just keep that in mind. It's run by a family business. That's a Garg family. And also there is a partner, that's Punjab State Industrial Development Corporation. They have around 13.5%. For Vardhaman Acrylics, everyone talks about Vardhaman Textiles. But this company as well is rather interesting because the cash that it has is nearly around 35% of its market capitalization. The current market cap of Vardhaman Textiles, it's only listed on the NSE. It's at roughly around 135 crores. The market cap is around 380 crores. So that's supporting it. And finally, there's one big risk really, and I've been tracking the key raw material. It's known as ACN, and it's known as acrylonitrile. Over there, the prices have moved up by roughly around 25% in the last 1 month. It's a crude derivative, crude oil derivative, so it'll be moving in tandem with it. And in fact, I spoke to a couple of dealers and in fact, a couple of companies. They said two things can happen. Either it'll compress the margins or it'll support the top line. So watch out for these three stocks. Back to you.